Hi and welcome to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Today's video I will be showing a very special George Harrison item, so please come and join me. So hello and a wonderfully warm welcome today to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Hope I find all you fantastic people doing really well out there, and thank you so much again for joining me on the channel. Well, the subject for today's showing is an extremely rare item which was published by Genesis Books and is called Songs by George Harrison, and it was a very limited edition of 2,500 and it's an absolutely beautiful item and I think you're going to really love it. But before then though, it's time for something completely different. It's Ask BeatleDave, yeah! So yes, welcome to Ask BeatleDave, where I'll be answering your questions that you have about anything Beatles related, perhaps about anything to do with the solo projects, or maybe about anything I've shown, or anything I haven't shown, just about anything that you can think of, and I'll endeavour to answer it right here for you. So today's question is from Polo. Hiya Paul, hope you're doing well my friend. And he asks, BeatleDave, you obviously can't take it with you, but what do you intend to do with all your collection? Well, you know, I've actually got to confess here, I've actually been thinking about this recently. And when I started collecting back in 1979, age 10, I never ever thought I'd have quite the superb collection that I've got now, over 40 years later. I mean, technically though, my Beatles collection is still my work in progress. And it's actually something that you could never ever finish because there's always something that you haven't got. But in reality though, I would possibly sell the whole collection at an auction house, maybe within the next 20 years or so, just like the Frenchman Jacques Vaucouve who sold his collection in 2017. So Polo, I really hope that answers that question for you. And guys, if you want to contribute to Ask BeatleDave, just send me a question in the comments and I'll include it in a future episode. It's that simple. So come on guys, please me by getting involved and ask me some super questions. Okay then now, so let's move on. It's time for I Call Your Name. So yes, it's on to them old shout outs. And it's a great big BeatleDave hi to It's Only Rock and Roll Podcast, Stephen A, Edgardo Guzman, George 1960 Collecting Music, Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, hi Sarah, XT Stevie, Neil Stroman and Edward Russell. So that's a great big hi to all of you guys from yours truly, BeatleDave. So on to the main event then today guys, and a very special look at the limited edition Genesis book, Songs by George Harrison. So please, come and join me. Songs by George Harrison was published on the 15th of February 1988 by Genesis Publications and was a limited edition of 2,500 copies, which were all signed by Keith West and George Harrison. Priced at £235, the book was available via mail order from Genesis, who also offered some limited edition art prints based on Keith West's watercolours. The book includes a foreword by Jeff Lynne, a middleword by Elton John, and a backward by Harrison. During the 2-year period of production, Harrison resumed a more active musical career, working with producer Jeff Lynne on the soundtrack to Shanghai Surprise in 1986. George then began recording his first album in 5 years, Cloud 9. Intended as a luxury item, each copy was hand-bound and boxed, with a 4-track EP on CD or vinyl. The book actually contains the lyrics to 60 Harrison compositions, the themes of which Keith West represents visually with his paintings. The bonus EP contains 3 songs that Warner had rejected in 1980 for inclusion on George's Somewhere in England LP. The live version of For You Blue was recorded during Harrison's controversial 1974 North American tour. The release coincided with Harrison's uncharacteristically high-profile publicity for Cloud 9, which was a critical and commercial success when issued back in November 1987. Despite its high price, Songs by George Harrison sold very well and typical for a Genesis title. However, the publication's availability was confined to its initial print run. So let's take a look. So here we have then Songs by George Harrison with illustrations by Keith West, and this was released on the 15th of February 1988 by Genesis Publications Limited, catalogue number SGH777, and this is a limited edition of 2,500 copies, and at the time it would have cost you £235, although I just paid a little bit more than that just a little while later. So I'm going to take a look at the box first. It's extremely heavy, but it's a lovely looking set. It's a really remarkably well done set. So we got on the front there, we've got Songs by George Harrison, illustrations or illustrated by Keith West, book and record set. And then on the spine, we've got Songs by George Harrison and a little asterisk or flower or something there. There's nothing on the back, but we're going to open this up to reveal the contents. So we've got a little guitar shaped emblem there, and then this is where we got the 7-inch vinyl. It's a bit of a tight squeeze coming out of there, it's quite tight, but we'll pull that out to release the single. So there's the cover. And then on the reverse, we've got a picture of George there with the 4 tracks. We've got Songs by George Harrison at the top there. So we've got Sat Singing, which was recorded March 1980, and Lay His Head, recorded in April 1980. For You Blue, which was part of the 1974 North American tour, which was recorded in December that year in Washington. And of course we've got Flying Hour there, recorded in March 1978. And at the bottom there we've got the 1987 Ganga Productions BV. And it also says there a limited edition of 2,500 copies. Obviously you could have got this on vinyl or CD, but this particular one we've got the vinyl single. So just pop that cover over there, and then we've got our little 45 with the 2 songs on each side. I think that's side 1. And then we've got side 2 there. And then we're going to take a look at the book then. We're just going to move that out of the way. Actually, we could probably leave that there and just look at it from there. So we've got a little piano strip bookmark there, which is really nice. And we've got the guitar on the other side. It's a lovely little bookmark there. So this is the book. Absolutely incredible. And the smell, you've got a lovely leather smell there. It's really beautiful. Really incredible. The actual quality, you can actually feel the quality. So you've got the George's Gretsch there, guitar, and of course you've got the piano on the reverse, and then on the spine we've got Songs by George Harrison. So let's have a good look at this book. So firstly, you've got Keith West's autograph there, one of the first illustrations there, and then we've got another illustration on the left with this collection is limited to 2,500 signed copies, of which this is copy number 1029, and then of course we've got George's autograph there. And this really is so beautiful. I've just been so careful with it because it's so dear to me, this book. It's just so amazing. It's just so well made. Songs by George Harrison there. And then we've got the contents. So we've got publisher's note, forward, songs, first part, intermission, middlewood, photographs, songs, second part, list of songs, backward, and acknowledgements there. And we've got the forward by Jeff Lynne, and then the first part. The illustrations are just so lovely. Can't get over how nice they really are. So the first song in the book we've got there, Here Comes the Sun. Moving on to Devil's Radio, of course, from Cloud 9. This was so amazing to see all these little illustrations alongside all of George's lyrics. There's George and Jeff there. Obviously you've got the devil running away with the radio there. And then we've got Isn't It a Pity? Obviously from All Things Must Pass. And the lyrics to Piggies from the White Album. Obviously pictures of piggies, as you would expect. And writings on the wall there, which is obviously from somewhere in England. Great song. I love Here Comes the Moon. That's another one of my favourite Harrison songs from the 1979 George Harrison album. Simply Shady from Dark Horse. That's another one of my favourite George albums, Dark Horse. There's quite a lot of lyrics for this particular song. So it moves on for a few pages. The Day the World Gets Round, which is from Living in the Material World, of course. Another great album. Gontropo. And they're just so, I mean, these pages are just incredibly thick. And if you actually look at they've actually got a gilt on the side of the actual book itself, on all the pages. They're all gilt. Beautiful. And they're just the quality is just so amazing. Taxman, of course, from Revolver. Some incredible illustrations as well. The Unknown Delight, which is from Gontropo. Love You Too from Revolver. It's What You Value. That's another great song from 33 1/3. Even the writing, the actual calligraphy, it's just so nice. It just looks so amazing. Just for Today, of course, it's Cloud 9. And then we've got Save the World there, which is from somewhere in England. Some great illustrations. Really, really amazing just to look at the illustrations. May I Love, which is from Dark Horse. Another great song there, Love Comes to Everyone, from the George Harrison album, 1979. And Crackerbox Palace. I love the video to that. That is absolutely fantastic when George jumps out of that pushchair. Quite amazing. World of Stone, which is from Extra Texture. One thing I was quite surprised actually, but that there was My Sweet Lord is actually not in this version. Another great song, another one of my favourite George songs, Sue Me, Sue You Blues. Absolutely love the slide guitar on that. Absolutely fantastic. Grey Cloudy Lies from Extra Texture. Some great illustrations here. Living in the Material World, of course. Another great song, Tired of Midnight Blue from Extra Texture. Another one of my favourite George songs. And Try Some Buy Some, which was originally given to Ronnie Spector, released on an Apple single. Of course we've got The Inner Light there, Beatles B-side to Lady Madonna. Sour Milk Sea, which was given to Jackie Lomax, and that was his first solo single. Within You Without You from Pepper. And For You Blue, which is one of the songs on the EP. And of course we've got Intermission here, Back Soon. We've got some wonderful illustrations here. I mean, this one folds out. Absolutely wonderful. The quality, I can't tell you enough how good the quality is of this particular book. And all the Genesis books, they really are beautiful. And we can turn that over and there's more illustrations there. And there's also one that folds out here as well. I mean, isn't that just amazing? Absolutely amazing. I'm sure there's the guys in there. I'm sure John, Paul, George and Ringo are all in there somewhere. I did spot them in there before. But they're just absolutely incredible. Make sure I get those in there correctly. So, more pictures. Chuck looks like Chuck Berry there at the top there. And we've got Middlewood there, or Middleward by Elton John. And we've got some photographs, the photograph section of George. And there's performing Here Comes the Sun there at the Prince's Trust concert there on the right hand side. Of course there's George and Ringo from the Prince's Trust there. And we've got Eric and Elton John there on the right hand side, and Ian Botham, Jeff Lynne. Another great picture of George there at Friar Park. And then we got on to the second part. And we got Sat Singing, which is one of the tracks on this EP. Soft Hearted Hannah, which is from the George Harrison album from '79. Another classic George song here, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Another great George song, This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying, which is a bit of a follow-up to While My Guitar Gently Weeps, of course. Wake Up My Love, which is from Gon Troppo. That's a great song. I do like that song. And then Leahy's Head, which is actually on this EP, and of course it's on the Got My Mind Set on You single B-side. I'm going to track there from Dark Horse, Is It He, Jai Shri Krishna. Run of the Mill, that's another great song from All Things Must Pass. These books are just so expensive now. If you see these on, which come up at auction or on eBay, just so expensive now. You're talking about around between £1,000 to £1,500 now. Beware of Darkness there from All Things Must Pass. See Yourself, that's from 33 1/3. Blood from a Clone. That's from somewhere in England, of course. A mystical one there, which is from Gon Troppo. And obviously this one's about Olivia, Dark Sweet Lady. Lovely song. Classic Dark Horse there. Great song. Another great song of George's. And we've got Circles from Gon Troppo. And The Answer's at the End, which is from Extra Texture. Another great song. Very mystical George. Even his lyrics. A lot of these songs they just read as poems. They're just quite incredible. Learning How to Love You there from 33 1/3. Soft Touch. That's from the George Harrison LP. And Life Itself. That's from somewhere in England. Fish on the Sand, of course, from Cloud 9. Obviously with George back in the public eye, You know, and these books sold really, really well at the time for Genesis. All those years ago, of course, which is from somewhere in England as well. And Beautiful Girl from 33 1/3. Breath Away from Heaven, which is from Cloud 9, of course. Another classic Jules song there, Art of Dying. That one's about reincarnation, of course. Great song from All Things Must Pass. And we've got Dear One, which is from 33 1/3. The Lord Loves the One That Loves the Lord, from Living in the Material World. Keith West really done a fantastic job in this book. And of course volume 2. Blow Away then, of course, which is from George Harrison. Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth, from Living in the Material World. Then we've got Ballads of Frankie Crisp there, Let It Roll, obviously from All Things Must Pass. That Which I Have Lost, which is from Somewhere in England. Then That's the Way It Goes, which is from Gone Troppo, that one. We're getting near the end now, actually. It's such a lovely book. The Flying Hour, which is on this EP, in this set. And then we've got the list of songs there. And Backward by George, with a picture of George there on the right. Nice picture of George. And then on the right there, we've got acknowledgements with another picture of George there on the left. And then we've made the end. Incredible book. And finally, got a picture of George's Gretsch there. Absolutely incredible. What a fantastic book. Really amazing. So thank you all for tuning in today, guys, and joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed seeing the fantastic Songs by George Harrison book. It really is an absolutely beautiful item, which I'm sure you'll agree. And as always, I appreciate any comments I get from any of you, and I'll always reply to you just as soon as I can. So next week, it's the final episode of my Beatles UK album series, and of course we conclude with Let It Be. So please be here, same Beatles time, same Beatles channel, next week. And as always, guys, if you enjoy what I'm doing, why not give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. This is BeatleDave signing off.